All right. So have you ever bought a lottery ticket?
And wondered, what does that person behind the counter actually do all day?
Hmm.
That's what we're diving into today, lottery operators.
Okay.
We've got a ton of info from RoleCatcher.com, career guides, the whole nine yards.
And honestly, it's way more interesting than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, it's not just like pushing buttons all day, you know?
Right.
It's a real mix of customer service, and then you've got some technical aspects
Mm-hmm.
and a surprising amount of responsibility that I don't think people really think about.
Okay, see, responsibility is what I'm curious about.
Because I figured, it's mostly just like making sure the scratch-offs are stocked.
Right.
But what's the real deal here?
Well, think about it. Lotteries are all about trust, right?
Right.
Every single ticket needs to be accounted for.
Oh, okay.
Every payout has to be accurate. And RoleCatcher actually calls this data integrity.
Oh.
And they say it's super important for a lottery operator. They're the ones making sure that the whole system's not rigged, basically.
So you're not just, handing somebody their numbers and good luck.
You're kind of like the guardian of the whole process.
Right.
No pressure.
Exactly.
One thing that surprised me reading through the guide was,
How hands-on it seemed to be. I wasn't expecting
yeah,
installing equipment to be part of the job description.
yeah, absolutely. They could be the ones going out to the different retailers, troubleshooting machines,
Wow.
managing all the inventory.
Okay.
It's a lot more movement than you might think.
So we're talking tech support, logistics, customer service.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty multifaceted role.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten into the career path itself yet.
Okay.
There's potential to move up, specialize, but there's also...
Some downsides that people might not expect.
All right, well, let's get into those. I'm very curious now. What does RoleCatcher have to say about...
The pros and cons of this whole thing. So we talked about data integrity, getting hands-on with the machines, but now the big question.
What about the money?
Right, everybody wants to know.
Did RoleCatcher give any hints about the earning potential here?
They did, and it's not as straightforward as you might think.
Okay.
It's not like you win the lottery just by working with it, sadly.
Right, no commission on every winning ticket sold, huh?
Sadly not, no.
Yeah.
But what influences how much you can make, that's where it gets interesting.
Okay, so what are the factors? Is it just years of experience or...
Experience is definitely part of it. Location matters too, like most jobs.
Makes sense.
But what RoleCatcher points out is how lottery operators can actually boost what they earn themselves.
Okay, so it's not just set in stone. There's room to grow.
Exactly. One way is moving up to management, obviously.
Right, become the lottery boss.
Right. But they also had this cool example of specializing in gaming regulations.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you become the expert on the legal side of everything.
Making sure no one's bending the rules.
Yeah, keeping it all by the book.
Wow, so you can actually level up your skills to earn more? I like that.
Exactly. It's not just a flatline career.
Okay, but there's got to be some downsides, right? What does RoleCatcher say about the challenges?
Yeah, they don't sugarcoat it. Irregular hours are a big one.
That makes sense. You can't exactly reschedule a live drawing.
Nope. Evenings, weekends, got to be flexible.
Gotcha. Got to be where the lottery is.
And then there's the stress factor.
Okay. What makes this job so demanding besides the crazy hours?
Well, think about it. You're handling money, sometimes a lot of it.
Right. And people are counting on you.
Exactly. And they're not always in the best mood, a hope's riding on those
Oh,
numbers.
yeah. Big time pressure. Plus that whole data integrity thing.
Oh, absolutely. One wrong digit and...
Someone's dreams are crushed.
Exactly. And speaking of stressful, RoleCatcher mentioned something kind of unexpected.
Okay, now you've got me curious. What is it? What did they find?
Well, it turns out lottery operators. There's a risk they might develop. Gambling problems themselves.
Whoa, really? I mean, I guess being around it constantly.
Right, like working at a candy store, it's going to tempt you.
It's human nature.
Exactly. RoleCatcher really stresses the importance of ethics in this field for that very reason.
It's a good reminder that even though we're talking about a job, there's always that human element to consider.
For sure.
So we've got the tasks, the good pay, the tough parts.
What if someone's hearing this and they're like, sign me up?
What does it actually take to land a lottery operator job? All right, so we've gone through a ton of info on lottery operators.
Way more to it than meets the eye, that's for sure.
Right. It's not all rainbows and jackpots.
Definitely not.
Okay.
But let's say someone's listening and they're like, okay, I'm interested. Now what?
Time for the action plan.
Exactly. What does RoleCatcher say about actually getting hired for this gig?
Well, they break it down into two main things. The skills you need, obviously,
Makes sense.
but also the strategy for actually landing the job. Oh, smart. Okay, so skills first. We're talking what? Beyond being good with people.
Right, because customer service is a given. Right.
Yeah, I got to handle those excited players.
Exactly. But think about all that other stuff we talked about, like data integrity.
Right, every number has got to be perfect.
Exactly. And being able to, like, troubleshoot those machines if something goes wrong.
Oh, right, the tech side of things.
Mm-hmm. Role Catcher's Guide. They really stress that math skills, attention to detail, that's key.
It's like you're a detective for numbers.
Totally. And they even have a whole section on interview questions.
Ooh, like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so one is explain a time you worked under pressure and met a deadline.
Oh, so they're really trying to see if you can handle the heat.
Oh, absolutely, because it's a high-pressure job sometimes.
You need the skills, and you got to be able to talk about them like a pro.
Exactly. And that's where that strategy part comes in, and this is where RoleCatcher's AI platform, it's really cool.
Okay, yeah, we keep mentioning the AI, but for someone applying to these jobs, how does that actually help?
So two big things. One, they analyze like tons of job descriptions,
Okay.
and they figure out what keywords employers are using, the ones that actually get noticed.
Oh, interesting.
And for this field, they highlighted compliance, problem solving, uh, attention to detail came up a lot.
So that's like having a cheat sheet for job applications.
Kind of, but it's about more than just keywords. They also talk a lot about transferable skills.
Okay, so even if you've never worked with lotteries before,
Right. So you were a cashier, right?
Yeah.
You handled money, dealt with customers.
long lines, probably some stressed out folks in there too.
Exactly. Those are all skills that matter for this job, too.
So don't be afraid to like play up those experiences.
Exactly. It's all about making those connections for employers.
This has been fascinating. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for all the info. Super helpful for our deep dive today.
Yeah, it's been fun to really dig into this.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is, never judge a job by its title.
Right. Lottery operator, it sounds. Kind of
Yeah.
simple, maybe.
But it's clear there's a lot more to it.
Way more. It takes skills, responsibility, even a bit of mental toughness.
Yeah, you got to be able to handle the excitement, the pressure, the temptation.
And like we said, every job has those hidden aspects.
Absolutely. And hey, maybe this deep dive sparked something for some of our listeners out there.
Maybe someone just found their dream career today.
There you go. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dives. We'll be back next time with another fascinating profession that's more than meets the eye.